Long ago, in a faraway land, there lived a young prince. The prince was kind, polite, and very thoughtful. He lived in a big castle with his mother and father, the queen and the king. Even though the prince had everything he needed, there was one thing he wanted more than anything else. The prince wanted to get married, but he wanted to marry a real princess. A real princess was someone who was kind, honest, gentle, and truly royal inside her heart. So, one day, the prince said goodbye to his parents and decided to travel around the world. He hoped that somewhere, in some country, he would find a real princess and ask her to marry him. The prince traveled to many lands. He rode through busy cities and quiet villages. He crossed rivers, climbed hills, and sailed across seas. Everywhere he went, he met princesses. Some lived in tall castles. Some wore beautiful dresses and shiny crowns. Some spoke kindly, and some spoke proudly. But each time, something felt wrong. Some princesses were rude to servants. Some were not honest. Some cared only about fancy clothes and jewels. The prince tried very hard to believe in them, but his heart always told him the truth. "These are princesses," he said to himself, "but I do not think they are real princesses." After traveling for a long time, the prince felt tired and sad. He had searched everywhere, but he had not found what he was looking for. At last, he returned home to his castle. He missed his parents, and he missed his home. But most of all, he felt disappointed. "I may never find a real princess," he thought sadly. One evening, not long after the prince returned home, the weather became terrible. Dark clouds filled the sky. Thunder boomed loudly and bright lightning flashed across the night. Rain poured down heavily, like buckets of water falling from the sky. The wind howled and shook the trees. Everyone in the castle hurried inside to stay dry and safe. Suddenly, there was a loud knock at the castle gate. "Knock! Knock! Knock!" The old king put on his coat and went to open the gate himself. When he opened it, he was very surprised by what he saw. Standing outside in the storm was a young girl. She said she was a princess, but oh my, she looked awful. Her hair was completely wet and stuck to her face. Her dress was soaked through with rain. Water dripped from her sleeves and ran into her shoes. Her shoes were full of water, and it splashed out with every step she took. Still, even though she looked tired, cold, and soaked, she stood tall and said politely, "I am a real princess. May I please come inside?" The king felt sorry for her and invited her into the castle. The servants gave her warm towels and dry clothes. The prince and the queen looked at her closely. "She says she is a real princess," the queen thought. "But we must be sure." The queen was very wise. She did not say anything out loud. Instead, she came up with a quiet plan. That night, the queen went into the guest bedroom. She took all the blankets and mattresses off the bed. Then she placed a small green pea on the wooden bed frame. The pea was tiny and round. Next, she stacked 20 thick mattresses on top of the pea. The bed became very tall, almost like a tower. "No one will feel the pea," the queen thought, "unless she is truly a real princess." The princess was shown to her room and helped into bed. She climbed up carefully and went to sleep. The next morning, everyone gathered at breakfast. The queen smiled kindly at the princess and asked, "How did you sleep last night?" The princess looked tired. She rubbed her eyes and sighed. "Oh, I slept very badly," she said. "I could hardly sleep at all." Everyone listened closely. "There was something hard in the bed," the princess continued. "I don't know what it was, but it hurt my body all night. I feel sore and bruised all over. It was terrible." The queen smiled quietly. Now everyone knew the truth. Only a real princess could feel a tiny pea through 20 mattresses. No one else in the world could be that sensitive. The prince was overjoyed. At last, he had found what he had been searching for all along. "You are a real princess," he said happily, "and I would like to marry you." The princess smiled, and she was very glad. The king and queen were pleased too. Soon, there was a beautiful wedding at the castle, with music, dancing, and laughter. The prince and the princess lived happily together.